So we continue with still in macroeconomy. So we want to look into indicators of standard of living and economic development. So when we talk about the indicators, we're simply looking at how to measure the quality of life of people within an economy. And mostly we use different metrics to do that. So today we want to look into how a population will be measured based on its accessibility to the kind of quality of life they have. So here are other indicators of living standards and economic development. They measure a country's population in relative to wealth, health, and education. Two metrics such as GDP per capita, Human Development Index, life expectancy, rate of literacy, and poverty level. So these are indicators that would allow us to know the level in which an economy is with its population. So all the above stated indicators, which include materials and quality of life, determines the progress of an economy. So if you want to know if an economy is progressing, you get to know through these indicators. With these indicators, we can measure the past and the present situation of an economy with their population. So the following are indicators that will be used in measuring economic development. The first one we're going to talk about is GDP per capita. For GDP per capita, we're simply talking about the GDP, the income per head that has been adjusted for inflation. So it measures inflation adjusted average income per person. This shows material well-being, but doesn't indicate how income is being distributed. So the problem about using GDP per head or GDP per capita is that it doesn't tell us how much individual earn or how income is being distributed within the economy. The only thing it tells us is that, oh, this economy has enough money and there are a lot of material wealth in this economy. But who are those who own this material wealth? Is it distributed equally or not distributed equally? It doesn't show us. But GDP per capita can tell us how an economy is evolving over time. The second one, HDI, Human Development Index. It's a composite measure which combines the health. And when we talk about health, we're simply talking about the measurement of the life expectancy, education, years of schooling or average year of people in school, and GNI per capita, which is about measuring the standard of living. Yes?
GNI is the same thing, correct?
What?
GNI and GDP are the same thing, correct?
GNI is taken, you have to take away depreciation from GDP. GDP minus depreciation.
Oh, okay.
That's how you get your GNI. I think it's good. So that's about GNI. So then we have literacy and nutritional rates. For literacy and nutritional rates, it reflects on human capital and economic potential. So going back to GNI, GNI, gross national income, is mostly the same as, sorry, that's GNP. That's GNP with inflation. GNI is the same as GDP. GNP is GDP minus depreciation. Yeah. But GNI is the same as GDP. Yeah. So it reflects on human capital and economic potential. So the rate of literacy, how much people are well educated within an economy, will determine the value they can add to the supply of labor, to the value they can add to the labor market. So that can also be used to measure the development or the progress of an economy through its population. Then we have the MPI, which is multidimensional poverty index. Here, it doesn't talk about what we have, it talks about what we are being deprived of. You get it? It's not about what we have, but it's about what we are being deprived of. So it's assumed that this economy is supposed to produce these things, but the economy is unable to produce it. So the deprivation is what it talks about. So multidimensional poverty index measures poverty beyond income. It's not about income. It's focused on deprivation in health, education, and standard of living, such as electricity and sanitation. So it doesn't talk about income. It talks about how we are being deprived healthcare, how we are being deprived good environment. This is what it talks about. So for MPI, it's simply about, it's more of what we don't have than what we have. Yes?
Could you please remind me what's the difference
What?
Can you please remind me my definition for standard living?
For metric?
No, standard of living.
Standard of living. Standard of living is simply talking about the quality of life you can have. That is the standard of living. How well as what your purchasing power improves over time. What you used to buy before now and what you are able to buy now. That's the standard of living. The improvement in the quality of goods and services you consume. That's the standard of living. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay? Then another indicator that we can use to talk about the progress of an economy through its population is income inequality. And for income inequality, we already know this. How income is being distributed within the population. And that takes us to the Gini coefficient. The Gini coefficient, which we use a scale of 0 and 1 to decide wealth distribution. If it is 0, it simply means, if the scale is 0, it means perfectly well distributed income. But if it is 1, it simply means
one person who has all the wealth.
yeah, so it simply means the economy, the population do not have equal distribution of wealth. I think that's clear.
Yes.
So that's about income inequality. And most when we talk about income inequality, we have to put in mind that we use Gini coefficient to scale how income has been distributed, if it's fair or not. And second to the last one is employment rate. There's no way one to measure progressive. There's no way one to measure economic progression without employment rate. So the rate of employment, the numbers of jobs available, the economic opportunities are things that will determine the welfare of the economy. So if people are going to move out of poverty, it will come simply with their earnings through employment.
Also because unemployment is showing the waste of human capital.
Yeah, unemployment, yes. Unemployment is a waste of human capital because it simply means they are unused resources.
Yeah.
And the last one is social infrastructure. Here we're talking about electricity, water supply, even education also, housing. These are infrastructure. So the kind of infrastructure an economy has might as well determine their progression in terms of their economy, in terms of the population. So you can imagine if an economy has access to water supply, housing, electricity, this simply solves half of situations when it comes to poverty. Do you get it? So these are economic indicators that would allow us to know how the standard of living of an economy is before now compared to other countries. Any question?